Something extraordinary is happening on the world's oceans that will forever change naval warfare as we know it. Can you imagine a single warship capable of tracking 100 targets simultaneously, launching missiles that can hit enemies 1,000 miles away, and defending itself from threats moving faster than the speed of sound? Well, modern destroyers have achieved it. While some navies are still romanticizing battleships from the last century, today's destroyers are machines that seem straight out of science fiction. From ships that can detect a submarine 50 miles underwater, to weapons systems that fire projectiles at 7 times the speed of sound, today I'm going to show you why modern destroyers have made battleships completely obsolete. Stay until the end, because what you'll see will undoubtedly leave you speechless about the future of naval dominance. Here's what no one's talking about. The last battleship was retired in 2006, and there's a reason why every major navy on Earth chose destroyers instead. What I discovered will completely change how you think about naval power. Because while battleships were floating fortresses designed to pummel enemies with massive guns, modern destroyers are networked battle computers that can wage war across 5 different domains simultaneously: surface, subsurface, air, space, and cyber. This isn't just an upgrade. This is a complete revolution in how wars are fought at sea. Let me start with something that sounds impossible. The Aegis Combat System, installed on modern destroyers like the Arleigh-Burke-class, can simultaneously track and engage more than 100 targets at once. Think about that for a second. A World War II battleship had sailors manually spotting enemy ships through binoculars and calculating firing solutions with mechanical computers. The USS Iowa's main guns could hit targets maybe 20 miles a day. Now compare that to the AN/SPY-1 radar system on a modern destroyer. This beast can detect aircraft 200 miles away, track ballistic missiles during their boost phase, and coordinate defensive responses across an entire carrier strike group. The radar alone generates so much data that it requires cooling systems more powerful than 100 home air conditioners running simultaneously. But here's what's absolutely mind-blowing. The Aegis system doesn't just detect threats. It uses artificial intelligence to predict enemy behavior, automatically prioritize targets based on threat level, and execute defensive protocols faster than any human could react. We're talking milliseconds. When a supersonic anti-ship missile is screaming toward your vessel at Mach 3, those milliseconds mean the difference between survival and catastrophe. Battleships had thick armor. Destroyers have something better. They simply don't get hit in the first place. Now, if you think that's impressive, wait until you hear about the weapons range that makes battleship guns look like toys. Modern destroyers carry the Tomahawk cruise missile, and this weapon has completely redefined what naval power projection means. The latest Block 5 Tomahawk has a range of over 1,000 miles. Let me put that in perspective for you. A battleship could bombard coastal targets maybe 20 miles inland. A modern destroyer sitting safely 1,000 miles offshore can strike targets deep inside enemy territory with pinpoint accuracy. We're talking about hitting a specific window of a specific building in a specific city while the ship launching the missile is over the horizon, completely invisible to the enemy. But it gets even crazier. These missiles don't fly in straight lines. They use terrain-following radar to hug the ground at 550 miles per hour, making them nearly impossible to detect until it's too late. They can loiter over target areas, receive new targeting data mid-flight, and even redirect to different targets if priorities change. The USS Arleigh-Burke carries 96 vertical launch cells. That's 96 different missiles that could be Tomahawks, SM-6 air defense missiles, or anti-submarine rockets. One destroyer has more firepower than an entire World War II naval task force, and it can deliver that firepower with surgical precision from distances battleship admirals couldn't even imagine. Here's where it gets absolutely insane. Modern destroyers are hunting threats that move at hypersonic speeds, and they're winning. The SM-6 missile system represents a technological leap that would seem like magic to battleship-era sailors. This missile can intercept aircraft, cruise missiles, and even ballistic missiles in their terminal phase. It reaches speeds of Mach 3.5 and can engage targets 250 miles away. But the real game changer is what's coming next. The U.S. Navy is testing railgun technology that fires projectiles at Mach 7, that's 7 times the speed of sound, using electromagnetic force instead of explosive propellant. These projectiles can hit targets 100 miles away in less than a minute, and each shot costs a fraction of what a missile costs. Imagine this: a battleship's 16-inch gun could fire maybe 2 rounds per minute per gun. A railgun can fire 10 rounds per minute, and the projectiles travel so fast that the enemy has virtually no time to react. The kinetic energy alone is devastating. We're talking about projectiles that don't even need explosives because they hit with such force that they obliterate targets through pure physics. But here's what truly separates primitive battleships from modern destroyers: invisibility. The Zumwalt-class destroyer looks like something from a science fiction movie, and that's intentional. Its angular design isn't for aesthetics. Every surface is calculated to deflect radar waves away from the source. Despite being 610 feet long, the Zumwalt has the radar signature of a small fishing boat. Let that sink in. A 15,000-ton warship appears on enemy radar as a 50-foot fishing vessel. Battleships were designed to absorb punishment with thick armor plating. The USS Iowa had armor up to 12 inches thick in some places, but all that armor made battleships slow, expensive, and ultimately vulnerable to modern weapons. A single anti-ship missile costing $1 million can sink a battleship worth billions. Modern destroyers take the opposite approach. Don't be seen, don't be hit. And if something does come your way, shoot it down before it arrives. The Zumwalt also features an integrated power system that generates 78 megawatts of electricity. That's enough to power 50,000 homes. This massive electrical capacity isn't just for current weapons systems. It's future-proofing the ship for directed energy weapons, laser systems that can shoot down missiles and drones at the speed of light for less than $1 per shot. Finally, here's the secret weapon that makes modern destroyers truly unstoppable. They never fight alone. Through the Naval Integrated Fire Control Counter-Air System, destroyers can share targeting data with aircraft, other ships, and even satellites in real time. A destroyer can launch a missile at a target it can't even see, using targeting data from an aircraft 200 miles away. This networked warfare capability means that every destroyer multiplies the effectiveness of every other asset in the battle group. Battleships were lone wolves. Destroyers are pack hunters with a shared brain. The future is even more impressive. The U.S. Navy's Project Overmatch is creating an AI-powered network that will allow autonomous decision-making across the entire fleet, processing sensor data from thousands of sources simultaneously and coordinating responses faster than any human command structure ever could. What we've just seen is the reality of naval warfare in 2025. From ships that think faster than humans to weapons that strike from 1,000 miles away, we're witnessing a revolution that has made the battleship era look like ancient history. The question is no longer whether destroyers have replaced battleships, but how quickly naval warfare will evolve beyond even what we see today. Modern destroyers aren't just better than battleships. They're playing an entirely different game, and that game is being won with technology, speed, and intelligence, rather than brute force and thick armor. Which capability impressed you the most? Would you want to serve on one of these technological marvels? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more content about the cutting edge of future technology. See you in the next one.